Okay, we have a 2015 Dodge Ram 1500 Hemi 5.7 liter. We're going to put a water pump, thermostat on it, and a new belt. I don't know exactly why, but the customer said he needed a water pump and thermostat. So he asked me if I'd do it. I told him I would. I don't know if it's overheating, if it's leaking. I don't know. All I know is he's paying me to put a water pump and thermostat on it. So we're going to do that. So the very first thing that I think I'm going to do, what you've got to do on these things is there's a section to the shroud on the bottom that you've got to snap off, because the shroud, this whole shroud will end up pulling up and out of there to get it out of our way. So to do that, let me get me some light here so you can see what's going on. Hopefully you can see this section of shroud right here. You see the little tabs. This section here and this little bottom piece right here has got to come off. And I'm going to try to do this one-handed. I don't know if I got the right tool or not, but we are going to give it a try. There we go. Pull down just like that. So we're going to get that out of the way. Now, for these little units, I'm just using a little trim tool here. They're just those little Christmas trees, as all these are. And there we go. Now that should have freed up everything that we need on the bottom side. Oh, okay. Yeah, see that wiggle in the water pump? Hopefully you can see that. That's why he's changing it. That's the first, well, that's a sign that your bearing's shot. So the first thing I'm going to do, there's two 13 millimeter bolts right here we need to take out. Get this shroud out. One on each side. I'm not going to be able to get to that one with what I got, so probably a little overkill for just a shroud, in my opinion, but whatever Dodge wants to do. The shroud's trying to come out. I just got to figure out how to unclip this belt. Okay, that's how the belt hose. So before this shroud will come up and out of here, the fan's got to come off. And this fan is reverse threaded. The easiest way I have found to take these off is with an air hammer. Now if you don't have an air hammer, you can get on the pulley. You can take the belt off, get on the pulley with a strap wrench, and hold the pulley while you break the nut loose. That's the second easiest way I have found, if you have a good strap wrench. Sometimes you can get lucky and you can get this broke loose before you take the belt off. The belt will actually try to hold the pulley still, but usually these are too tight and it'll just spin. But we're going to give it a shot. So you can see how that pulley's just spinning. Before I get the ribbon or the air hammer out, yeah, it's just gonna spin. Alright, got the air hammer. And just that constant shock and vibration from the air hammer loosens these right off. Never had that fail. Once that shroud's out of the way, you got real good access to everything else. Of course, we got the fan down there. I'll pick it up, and then we'll start taking this thing apart. So what we got now is we got some clamps. Looks like we got, of course, we got the upper radiator hose, the lower radiator hose, this clamp to remove those hoses. Those are probably heater hoses. And then we'll remove the belt. I'll probably remove the belt first. That belt's kind of chewed up. Again, try to remember the routing of the belt. I'll probably go have to get a belt diagram, because I always tend to forget. Got a pan. You can see the pan underneath. So let's start, I guess, yeah, let me get some pliers, start taking these clamps off. And I think I'm going to leave the upper radiator hose on this neck. Sorry about that air leaking sound, but my compressor fitting is bad, so it's got a leak. You know what, I'm going to get this upper radiator hose out of my way. Looks like a 12 millimeter. Actually 13. Oh. I'm not going to drain the radiator. You know, it's going to self-drain as I take this stuff apart. It's got the pan underneath it. So, whatever we lose, we're going to catch as much of it in the pan as we can. And go from there. Of course, there's a thermostat right there. And I'm going to get you guys set up where you guys can see this better. So give me a second. Alright. We're getting hoses and stuff off. I don't have the reach I need to be able to get down there. Get this belt off, or this. Why do I keep calling this a belt? I just did a belt change. That's probably why I'm calling these hoses belts. Alright, so I'm going to give me a 3/8, which I have right here. I'm going to get this. Now this is the belt. Okay. Now it looks to be all bolts. Looks like there's a bracket right here we're going to have to take off. That might just come right off. Looks like some 10 millimeters and looks like 13s. That looks like it can actually stay. I've already got it out, so I'm going to keep it out. That's just a support for this tube that does not come out. I think the new one's got that tube installed. You could take the tensioner, so the tensioner's got to be swapped over to the new one. And you could wait to take this off, I think. But I'm going to go ahead and get it out of my way. It may have to come off anyway, I don't know. First time I've done one of these guys, so this will be a good gauge. If you guys have never done it, then, you know, this is about how long it's going to take. So far there's 3 different sizes, 3 different length bolts, I should say. I really don't think you could get them messed up, because if you try to put a short one in a long one, it's not going to grab threads. If you try to put one of the longer ones in a shorter one, you're going to have way too much stick out. So you should be able to figure out that, you know, this bolt don't go there and whatnot. This one does. Just remember where the stud goes. It's for that bracket right there. I think that's all of them. Oh, got one more right there. I'm going to show you a picture of this water pump so that you'll know what bolts go where. So let's see, this water pump sits in there kind of like that, right there I think. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 bolts that hold the water pump on, plus you've got the tensioner bolt that you can take off and get the tension out of the way, and then you got this little 10mm that's just part of the reinforcement for this tube that does not need to come off. So this water pump should be ready to depart the truck. Got a connector right here that we need to take off. You got a red little, and I'll show you this whenever I get it off, if I get it off. There we go. And I hope you can see this, guys. This little red piece pulls it up. So you pull it up, then you push the release tab and pull the connector off. And we'll need this, we're going to swap that over. No big deal, I'll show you how to do that. So let's see if this thing will pull off here by hand. Nope. Okay, let me find a good pry spot. Usually they leave like a little tab sticking up so you can pry on it. And if you look right there, that's a pretty good looking pry spot. If you don't have one of these indexable pry bars, get you one. That bad boy right there. I got two of them. This is my smaller one. I got a longer one. They telescope, and then the head here indexes, so you can get it exactly the way you need. Alright, let me get you set back up. So let's, of course the new thermostat's going to go in. We'll have a seal for that. So the only thing it looks like that I need to swap over is this sensor. And you do want to put that in with some sort of thread sealant. Teflon tape's fine. I've got some actual thread sealant that's made for doing stuff like that. So let me get set up. Alright. The only thing I'm going to do is break the, this is 19 millimeter. Look at that water pump. And I think we should be done with this. If this tube ever rusts out on you, or you need to change it, it looks like you've got an O-ring, got one bolt, you can replace that tube. The thread sealant that I use is this stuff. This is what GM recommends on all their stuff. It's just high temp thread sealant. It's actually made for this kind of thing. It doesn't take much. You don't want to tighten this up too much because you run the risk of breaking this boss right here. I'd like to get that actually clocked up to where that connector would be easier to get to the tab, but I don't want to risk tightening it up anymore. No RTV or anything required for this. So the only thing I'm going to do now is get up here and clean up the block, and then we're going to throw this on. I ain't going to make you sit through the cleaning of the block. I'm just going to use a scraper, some carb cleaner or a brake cleaner, and we'll just do it that way. Alright, so I've got this surface cleaned up, ready to go with the new water pump. Alright, we are almost done. One hose. Two hose. Alright, hoses are hooked up. Now the tensioner has a little boss on it. Make sure that gets put back into right little orientation. Remember, it's 16 millimeter. Thermostat. Again, rubber seal. You do want to make sure that, you know, the surfaces are clean, but they shouldn't be too bad since it's not a RTV type system or, you know, sealing surface. Alright, I think that is it. Did get that right. Yep. Oh, the belt. Can't forget the belt. You guys remember how it went? It's actually a pretty short belt for a V8 engine. Okay, so I'm going to guess Now, in most cars, what I've found is since the alternator pulley is the smallest one, it's usually easier to get it around all the other pulleys except for the alternator, and then go around the alternator pulley last. Dang it. And then, of course, you want to double check, make sure it's in all the grooves. Clean off any debris. Everything looks good. Now at this point you have a couple choices. You go ahead and put water in it, or antifreeze, coolant, whatever you're going to put in it. Start it up, make sure it's all leak free and it's holding. Just in case you have to take anything back apart, the shroud's already off. I'm pretty confident this is going to be good. I mean, nothing really fought me. So I'm pretty sure I didn't pinch the seal. The thermostat, if it was leaking, it's easy enough to get to. The hoses are actually relatively easy. I can actually reach them if I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and put the shroud in, and then I'm probably going to back this thing up to fish the fan up in there, because there's my sprinkler system came on. I don't know if you can see all the water underneath this vehicle. And my driveway's got a lot of water in it, specifically right underneath this vehicle, that I don't want to be laying in. So let me get this shroud in. Has these little, hopefully you can see that right there. They fall right down into these little receptacles. So remember that. And then you go ahead and put your bolts in. Top side's done. We just got to fish the fan up, screw it on, and then fill her up with some water. Put that lower part of the shroud on. So I'm going to back this truck up. Okay, so as you guys remember, the fan goes up from the bottom. I'll get it started on the threads, and then I'll finish it off from the top. And then this piece just snaps in. And the way it happens, you got this little piece here, it'll go in like that, twist in, and then snap in on the bottom. So these two little tabs will fit up in there. Hold this out, hold the bottom of this out at an angle, fish them up in there. When you twist them like that, they'll lock in, and then just lock your bottom tabs in. So I'm probably not going to show that. I'm going to get up there, I'm going to get the fan screwed on, that lower piece done, and then we'll get her filled up. Alright, so I got the fan all on, I got that lower shroud on, and now we're getting ready to fill her up with some coolant. And I'm just using this Super Tech from Walmart. I don't buy that 50-50 pre-diluted. I always get the regular antifreeze to where you have to add water. good time to start cleaning up your tools, putting them back up while you're waiting for the engine to warm up. Alright guys, so it's all topped off, full of coolant, runs perfect, no leaks, very simple water pump to change. But anyway, that's it. This was a 2015 Dodge Ram with the 5.7 Hemi engine in it. Water pump, thermostat, and belt change. You guys take care.